this from the Lubbock AJ. 2 years after the vote, I can't believe it's been 2 years. 2 years after the vote, progress on the Lubbock County Expo Center slowly continues. Has there been progress? 2 years have passed since Lubbock voters have approved an increase in the local hotel motel tax as well as a rental car tax to pay for a future Lubbock County Expo Center. The future attraction will host dirt events, maybe, as well as concerts, maybe, and other medium-sized gatherings, maybe. Rodeos, livestock shows, cattle sales, monster truck shows, and similar events will have a home in that venue as well, maybe. I'm adding the maybes in there. I'm just trying to be honest. For a large city, rural West Texas, an expo center was deemed a must, demolishing the Lubbock Municipal Coliseum, where equestrian activities used to take place, further added to the need. About 65% of Lubbock County voters who cast ballots said yes to the Expo Center in November of 2018. 2 years have passed, and the city is still in the planning stages with no firm timeline on when construction will start or when the Expo Center will open. Remember what I told you? When this thing passed, I told you it wasn't going to, because remember when it passed, they said within a year they were going to have this thing built. Remember that? We're going to have it built. It's going to be a year. No. Not even close. According to the AJ, there was a glimmer of hope when county commissioners met last week to discuss the progress on the Expo Center. County commissioners were told by Garfield Public Private, the lead development team, that construction could begin by the end of 2021. So you're talking another year before it might begin. Several factors would need to fall into place. Design and engineering would need to be completed. A guaranteed maximum price for construction needs to be agreed upon. County commissioners need to issue bonds. The steering committee needs to fundraise enough to cover any additional cost, and the plan for how it'll operate needs to be set. That sounds like a lot. Randy Jordan, chairman of the Expo Center Steering Committee, says COVID-19 has slowed progress, yet he said the project is moving forward. He believes, he said he's optimistic. Quote, the Expo Center is alive and well. He said, I'll be the first to say it's not as far along as we'd like it to be, but we're moving. We're not moving as fast as we want, but we are in motion. I don't want anybody to lose hope or lose sight of the fact that it's going to be something we need for Lubbock. Majority of the funds will come from the construction will come from the hotel, motel, and rental car taxes. Travel, however, has dropped in 2020, will likely remain down during the course of the pandemic. Lubbock County began collecting the 2% hotel motel tax and a 5% rental car tax in July of 2019. But I don't think that rental car tax is applied to the airport. And I would assume that's where most rental cars are rented, is out at the airport. In the first 6 months of collecting the tax, Jordan said it collected an average of $228,000 per month. In the first 9 months of 2020, Jordan said it's collecting an average of $171,000. County Judge Curtis Parrish said property taxes are not going to pay a single cent on the bond, and the county will issue for construction of the project. He said the county will be conservative on the bond to make sure the funds collected on the hotel, motel, and rental car taxes can pay it off. With future collection unknown, Parrish said a lot of final decisions still need to be made. Quote, we need to be making decisions as to how big a facility and what it's going to look like based on the money that we're anticipating coming in. See, this is why everyone should have voted against this thing. And I'm not going to rehash it completely. I'm not. But everyone voted for that pretty picture. And we still, 2 years later, we still don't know how big this thing is going to be. We still have no idea what it's going to look like. Bears continued, we've got to make sure that we have the project on solid financial footing before we begin. So that being said, we'll need to know what size and the scope of the project is. We'll need to have all the funding secured before we start turning dirt. The estimated price of the Expo Center has ranged from $30 to $50 million. Steering committee has said private funds will be raised to help pay for construction if the taxes can't entirely pay for it. According to a previous article in the AJ, the steering committee has hopes to build a $50 million facility with an arena, warm-up area, exhibit hall, and enough parking space for large trailers. Jordan, the lead fundraiser, he told county commissioners last week the virus has impacted fundraising as well. Quote, we had to slow down fundraising because there's never been a tougher time in recent history to ask anybody for money. When you've got people trying to survive and trying to keep businesses open, it makes it tough. Jordan said the steering committee has received $1.8 million in cash donations and about $6 million in pledges. Now remember, I think I have this figure correct off the top of my head. Jody, didn't they say they wanted to have at least $10 million just in reserves in order to, pay for the bills, basically? That they wanted to have a $10 million pot ready to go before dirt was turned. They only have $1.8 million in donations. I mean, a pledge is a pledge. Pledge doesn't mean anything until it's in the bank. I'm pretty sure an old car dealer made quite a few pledges around here, and those pledges didn't turn out well. So just because you have pledges doesn't mean anything. They did say they have a steering committee has secured a $10 million endowment from an anonymous foundation, a foundation for operational and maintenance purposes once it's built. So they don't have the $10 million yet. They'll only have the $10 million once it's actually built. So the committee negotiating naming rights on the facility. Said when the economy does bounce back, Jordan said, progress on the Expo Center will start to take shape. He said it's a matter of when, not if. He's hoping it'll be sometime next year. In April, commissioners approved beginning a $5 million bond to fund a preliminary work related to the future of the Expo Center. Commissioners were told last week that designs on the Expo Center are nearing completion, and the beginning designs should be completed by the end of January 2021. Input from the steering committee as well as organizations to use the facility, which will be included in the final designs. So, and at the end of the day, you're still pretty far away from anything actually happening out there, it seems. Let's go to the phones. And Commissioner Chad Seay giving us a call today. Lubbock County Commissioner Chad Seay. Good morning, sir. How are you today?
I'm doing all right, fighting the wind. Fixing to go look at a subdivision.
There you go. Well, what do you have for us on this?
Well, I was going to clarify a few things when it comes to what the Expo City or the Expo Center Committee, the LEEC, had talked about. The county, as far as their part, we're only going to be able to get between $30 and $32 million. That's it.
Right.
With the big pretty picture they sold everybody on, they're estimating that to be roughly $55 million plus a $10 million endowment, and that doesn't even include soft costs. We're going to have tractors to turn the dirt. We're going to have pins, portable pins and stuff. So it looks like they're going to have to raise the majority of the money, not the county, because we are limited to $30 to $32 million, and that's it.
Yeah, and so I mean, in your opinion, if they want to build the $50 million facility, how much money do they need to have cash on hand before the dirt starts turning out there?
cash on hand, they're going to have about $25 million. And then they're going to have the $10 million endowment, which they told us they have already, but that doesn't include any soft costs either. And I have not seen any estimates on that.
Yeah, and that's if it gets built, and it's not like they actually have that in the bank yet, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And we mentioned to them, hey, we're going to have to do this if you want to build this project with the money you have, we're going to have to do this in phases. But I haven't seen any scope of work as far as what it's going to start, how big it's going to be. I mean, I don't know where they're at.
Yeah. Well, that's, and again, if they're not even looking at turning dirt till the end of next year, that would make sense that you don't know where they're at because they may not know where they're at, to be honest with you.
Well, one of the things the county is talking about doing, we're starting our own government corporation that speaks for the county commissioners, and we're talking on the 9th about how it's going to be set up, what the board members are going to look like, and they're going to be the ones that go in there and verify what exactly does the LCEC have, because I'm not getting any information.
Commissioner Chad Seay, appreciate you giving us a call today and giving us an update.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good one.
Keep up the good work.
We'll do it. You as well, sir. Appreciate it.